I want to talk about how specifically women can be more connected with their body, and we are going to get all the way down to the most intimate way. And I'm going to start by saying a word that you might find cringy, that you might find disgusting, that might make you feel uncomfortable. And if it does, this is your first place to start, girlfriend. There's so much power in reclaiming a vulgar word. Welcome to Openly Spoken, the podcast to help you show up, speak out, and be seen in healthy relationships. On this show, we talk about self-love, sexuality, relationship tips, including ending the cycle of toxic relationships, and healing and thriving after heartbreak. Hi, I'm your host, Cilia, and I am a certified sex, love, and relationship coach, helping ambitious women with a history of toxic relationships feel deeply connected in healthy love. These are such important topics that every woman deserves, so if you could leave this show a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to help more women find this, it would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for being here today. Now let's dive into the show. Welcome to Openly Spoken, the podcast to help you show up, speak out, and be seen in healthy love. Today we're going to be talking about coming home to your body, and I'm specifically going to be talking about how women can come home to their bodies, cis women, so women with vulvas, and this will be helpful for you to listen to if you are a woman or if you are someone who dates women and you want to support the women in your life that you love on being more connected with her body. And I'm very excited about this. So the energy today, since it's nighttime, I'm just realizing that it's just kind of late. Energy's a little bit slower than most of the episodes, but I'm cool with that if you are. All right, we got I am sipping some turkey tail tea. I recommend you go get something cozy to drink as well, and maybe put something cozy on if you have the ability to do that at the moment. Where shall we start? Since we're talking about connecting with your bodies, let's start with a little meditation to get you connected to your body. So if you are driving, I would just skip ahead. I should have this time stamped, so you should be able to skip ahead pretty easily past this meditation. If you are not driving, come join me. So however you have your legs, see if you can have if you're sitting in a chair, uncrossing your legs and having your feet flat on the ground. If you are sitting on the ground, that's cool. See if maybe you want to lean against a wall or something like that. And before we do anything, just taking a moment to check in with your body and notice if there's anything your body might need at this time. Do you need water? Do you need a blanket? Do you need to turn the heat up? Do you need to open a window? Do you need to turn the heat down? Do you need to pee? What does your body need when you pause and check in? Life moves really fast these days, and a lot of us are on screens, and our screens are very alluring, very captivating, very magnetizing. They draw us in. It's hard not to get lost in the scroll. So taking moments to stop and ask our bodies what our bodies need is rare. So really take that pause right here for a second. And then when you feel ready, start to see if there's any way you can adjust your body to be more comfortable, with the fact in mind that you're going to do a little meditation right now. So is there any way you need to adjust? Okay, that should be more than enough time to be ready. If you need more time, please pause. So I invite you to gently close your eyes. If closing your eyes feels unsafe at the moment, you can pick something in the room to look at that is below eye level. And then from here, taking an exhale, breathing out all of your air. And then taking a nice, slow, gentle, deep breath in through the nose, seeing if you can direct this breath to your lower belly. And then letting out this breath through your mouth with an open mouth with a sound. So maybe it's a sigh, maybe it's a groan, maybe it's a grunt, maybe it's a scream. Whatever feels authentic for you in this very moment. And then I invite you to do that again. Only this time, really let go on that exhale. And again, deep breath in. See if you can be even louder on the exhale. Let yourself unleash. And let's just do 2 more because that feels very good. Deep breath in. And exhale. 1 more. Really let go this time, knowing this is your last one. Maybe you shake your body with that last exhale. And then just tuning into your inner reality and your mind. Noticing what might be swirling about in the mind. Maybe there are some expectations on how this podcast is going to go. Maybe there is some judgment of me or of yourself or of something right now. Maybe there's a memory from earlier today popping in your head. Just noticing what's going on in brain right now. And seeing if you can, just for this brief moment that we're meditating together, see if when these thoughts and these things come up in your mind, if you can gently imagine yourself plucking that out of your mind and hanging it on a coat hanger nearby, setting it aside, letting it pass as if it was a cloud. And then I'm going to invite you to take your awareness from your mind and travel with that awareness all the way to the back of your brain. And then on your next breath out, so take a moment to notice, when are you breathing in? When are you breathing out? On your next breath out, you're going to travel your awareness down to the base of your neck. Keep breathing as you travel your awareness down your spine. So you're at your upper spine, your middle of your spine, and your lower back. And then just holding your awareness of your entire spine as you take a couple of moments to breathe. Noticing what's coming up here for you. And then seeing if you can relax your forehead. Seeing if you can relax your eyes. Noticing if there's any tension or any holding happening in the eyes. And see if you can let your eyes kind of chill and just like rest in their sockets. And then bringing your awareness to cheeks, on your face, and the jaw, seeing if you can relax the jaw even just by a sliver of a hair. And then relaxing the tongue down from the roof of your mouth. And seeing if you can relax and bring awareness to the root of your tongue. And then your throat and your neck. Just allowing yourself to melt. And notice how that melting sensation travels down to your collarbone and the tops of your shoulders. And then I'll invite you on your next breath in to lift your shoulders up towards your ears. And exhale as you let your shoulders drop. Doing that a few more times at your own pace. Inhale as you lift your shoulders up. And exhale as you let them drop. Inhale, lift your shoulders up. And exhale, let them drop. One more time. Very good. The shoulders tend to carry a lot of weight. A lot of our stresses and anxieties are held here. So just holding your awareness to your shoulders as you breathe normally. Seeing if you can invite your right and your left shoulder to relax even more. And again, even if it's just by a sliver of a hair. And if you need to adjust, make any stretches at this time, like I am, if you're watching the video, you're noticing that I'm stretching my neck. You are welcome to do that as well. And then again, bringing your awareness to your spine. Sitting up tall. And then traveling with your awareness down to your hips. And noticing where your hips, apologies for my cat running around in the background, see if where your hips are coming in contact with the ground or the chair or the bed or whatever surface you are on. See if you can notice that point of contact between your body and the surface you're sitting on. And with your next exhale, can you surrender and relax and melt into that surface just a little more? Can you allow yourself to be held by the structure of the building you're in and essentially by earth beneath you? And just feeling into that, what it feels like to be held. Feeling into what this silence right now feels for you. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be very soothing. There's no right or wrong way, just honoring what is actually present and true for you right now. And then to start to transition out of this little meditation, I invite you to tuck your chin so that when you open your eyes, you are looking down at your own body. And taking maybe a moment to say, "Hi, body." And taking maybe a moment to realize how beautiful it is that you get to exist in this body, that the universe gave you this body. And then lifting your gaze to look around your room or looking around at the space you're in and noticing 3 specific things. And welcome to this episode. So, let's see. I really wanted to talk about this topic today because connecting people with their bodies is literally my passion. It's something I've been doing for 10 years at this point. I used to be a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher before I became a sex, love, and relationship coach. If you couldn't already tell by what I just led you through, I became a yoga and meditation teacher and also eventually sex, love, and relationship coach. I did these things because they changed my life. It was not what I had in my plan when I was, when you're like 16, 17, 18, deciding what you want to do for the rest of your life. This was not it. I wanted to be a fashion designer. And I went after that goal and I hated it. But okay, I'm just going to go through my notes because that little meditation made me forget everything. I just want to, let's see, where are we starting at? Yeah, so let's start out with talking about the disconnection epidemic. So in this podcast, I mainly speak to the demographic of ambitious women. And an ambitious woman, most likely, that means you have achieved a lot. And that means you are probably most likely very good at disconnecting from yourself because this isn't true all the time, but typically in order to achieve a lot, especially if we're talking like a corporate job, it's gonna like disconnecting from yourself and overworking and being overproductive and all of those things are kind of favored. I was just talking with a friend earlier today who's a teacher, and she was talking about how when you're a teacher, you have to be like really good at holding your bladder because you can't leave kids alone. She teaches like an elementary school level, and leaving to go pee, something her body needs to do, is something that could cost her her job. And that's nuts. I think that's so crazy. And that's just one example of how the work environment doesn't always honor our bodies. I remember when I was working 9 to 5, that was my biggest pet peeve, that I couldn't just go use the bathroom when I needed to. It really pissed me off. I don't know why. Like that's always been a thing for me. Even before I worked 9 to 5 when I was a waitress, I absolutely hated when I would be scheduled a really, really late shift. Like I would work a closing shift and then the next day I would be working brunch. And I'm like, dude, like the amount of hours between when I got off last night and when I'm supposed to come in the next day, like doesn't even give enough time for me to sleep 8 hours. Like what your body needs is not really considered in the working world, whether it's corporate or whether it's other jobs as well. And so we're kind of rewarded in society to disconnect from our bodies because that's how we're told we'll get ahead. And I know there are also a lot of industries where things like using performance enhancing drugs are running rampant because that's what helps people keep up with the crazy work environment. I remember seeing that when I was a waitress. And I'm also currently reading a book. It's called Ripe. And it's let me look it up for you in case there are any fellow bookworms listening. It's by Sarah Rose Etter. And the main character, she works in corporate. and she has a cocaine habit, and so does like everyone in the office. And that's like how they stay up late enough to get all their shit done that they have to get done because there's so much being asked of them. And that's not far from reality. And so, yeah, long story short, society trains us and rewards us from disconnecting from our bodies. And I think that's really sad because when we disconnect from our bodies, we are no longer living. When you disconnect from your body, it doesn't become clear to you what it is that you actually desire and want. When you're disconnected from your body, you can't actually really fully experience healthy love and healthy sex because it requires your body. Like, sex is full of senses. It's a sensual thing. It's a primal thing. And if you are someone who gets lost in your head, sex is not a cognitive thing. And so if you get lost in your head, it's going to be very hard for you to be present in sex. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this, because you deserve to have amazing sex. Every human does. Women are trained to disconnect from their bodies. I like mentioned earlier that we are definitely like rewarded for it, but it's not just in the work environment. It's just, it's in patriarchy. And because it's a part of patriarchy, it's in a lot of media. And the thing I'm speaking to specifically is like in media, women are given this ideal of this is what you need to look like, and this is what's beautiful. And because of that, women try so hard to fit that beauty standard. And women push themselves so far, and women are trained to be so violent to themselves and to not give their body what they need. I've been there myself. And, growing up, I know a lot of friends who I went to high school with also struggled with this as well. Eating disorders was like totally so common. I had disordered eating as well. I would restrict food. And it honestly wasn't until 5-ish years ago when I realized I would also binge and purge. I just, in my mind, I thought binge and purge meant that the purge meant you were throwing up. But I was not doing that. I was just like ferociously going to the gym because I would like binge on food, and then I would just like obsessively be at the gym, counting all the calories on the treadmill and just like being at the gym for like hours. That was like my version of purge. I didn't realize until like years later that was unhealthy. That was an unhealthy relationship with my body. It was an unhealthy relationship with food as well. The cats are running around. I'm not sure if the mic is picking that up. Hopefully not. Okay, so when we are disconnected from your bodies, let me get my pronouns right. That's not grammatically correct. When you are disconnected from your body, it's really going to set you up for toxic relationships because you have a toxic relationship with your body and with yourself. And your relationship with yourself is the relationship that is the foundation for every other relationship you are going to have in your life. And that's not to say you have to have a perfect relationship with yourself in order to date somebody that is, I wanted to say of high caliber, but I feel like that also brings in perfectionism. To date somebody that like you really enjoy spending time with and that really makes you feel seen and really makes you feel loved. You don't have to have a perfect relationship with yourself. You can totally be a work in progress. But however, you are more susceptible to getting into toxic dynamics because when we are disconnecting from our bodies, we are essentially self-abandoning. And when you are self-abandoning from your body, chances are you are going to be self-abandoning in other ways. You won't be speaking up, or if you do, it ends up being like this blow-up thing. and it's not like communication becomes harder, confidence is hard, you might experience a lot of anxiety, all the things. So when you reconnect with your body, you step into this really cool energy that's like, I don't give a flying fuck what anyone else thinks. And it's not in a mean way. It's in a way of like, this is who I am. And if someone doesn't like it, cool. Those are not my people. And at the same time, this is who I am. And in me showing unapologetically who I am, the people who come into my life, who want to spend time with me, those are genuine, aligned connections most of the time, because maybe those people are abandoning their bodies. Probably not. If you are embodied and if you are deeply connected with your body, chances are you're going to be meeting other people who are also like that or who are on the journey of that. Okay. So my little bullet point notes that I really wanted to talk about today, now that we got all of that out of the way, I'm just going to put my keyboard aside because it's in my way. I want to talk about how specifically women can be more connected with their body, and we are going to get all the way down to the most intimate way. And I'm going to start by saying a word that you might find cringy, that you might find disgusting, that might make you feel uncomfortable. And if it does, this is your first place to start, girlfriend. So if the word pussy makes you feel uncomfortable, we have a problem. If the word pussy makes you feel scared, makes you feel gross, makes you just want to like throw up, I've been there, and it's not your fault. Society literally conditions you to be afraid of your body and to be afraid of this word. The thing about the word pussy as well is it's usually used in a very derogatory way. Like it's seen as this very like vulgar word. And there's so much power in reclaiming a vulgar word. Like think about how now it's not a big deal. I mean, at least in the circles I'm in, it's not a big deal for women to be like, "Hey, bitch," and like 50 years ago, if you said "Hey, bitch" to a woman, they'd be like, "What?" Like that would have not been okay. But we have reclaimed that derogatory word. Or even for people who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, they have reclaimed the word queer. Queer used to be deemed as a derogatory word, but now it's a word that has been reclaimed because it's all encompassing. It includes anyone that fits into the community. And that's the same with the word pussy. It is all inclusive, meaning it's including all of your lady parts, all of them. If you just say the word vagina, you're literally just talking about a vaginal canal. Like you're not talking about anything else that a woman has down there. If you say vulva, you are just talking about the outer external parts and nothing internal, nothing underneath the skin. And so pussy is the only word that encapsulates everything. So if you're listening to this and you are a woman who is uncomfortable with the word pussy, this is where I want you to start. Sit with what's actually coming up. What's your reaction to me saying that word? And if you are uncomfortable with this word, it most likely tells me that you either do not have a pleasure practice, or if you have a pleasure practice, it's something that is being done in a very heady space. Maybe it's very fast and quick. Maybe it's something that involves a vibrator. Maybe it's something that involves porn. And there's nothing wrong with any of those, although the porn is kind of questionable. I'm on the fence about whether porn is good or bad because I want to be sex positive, but I don't know about porn. But yeah, this isn't to shame vibrators or like something that's quick and fast. However, when you are doing this and you are also afraid of the word pussy, chances are you have never slowed down with your body. And if you have never slowed down with your body, you haven't really gotten pussy's consent. And you haven't really gotten into connection with your desire, your true desire, and what truly brings you pleasure. And you probably have a hard time telling partners what it is that you want in the bedroom, if this is you. And also with this piece of like not shaming vibrators or solo sex being something that's very quick, when you learn to slow down with your body, you start to open up this wide spectrum of sexuality. And you start to realize that as a woman with a vulva or a non-binary person with a vulva, there's so much variety to our sexuality. There is so much. Like, I almost feel bad for people who are not born with vulvas. No offense. We love you. However, our bodies are fun with solo sex. They're real fun. And yeah, so you open up this multifaceted experience of sexuality. And then instead of just this one fast, hard, quick, vibratory thing, maybe porn thing that works for you, that gets you off, instead of like just having one thing that works, you have such a wide array of options. And I want that for you. Like, I want, lady, I want that for you. Like, that is life changing because this is not just about sex and pleasure. This is about how sex and pleasure and your relationship with your body really genuinely ripples out into the rest of your life. This is going to, like, when you change your relationship with your body and your pussy, and even your relationship with the word pussy, it's going to affect how you perform at work. It's going to perfect how you are in your perfect? Did I say perfect? It's going to affect how you are in your relationship. It's really going to shift how you show up in the world because you're going to have more confidence. You're going to be genuinely grounded. And in my opinion, confidence comes from being genuinely grounded, because the opposite of confidence is you're feeling insecure and you're having all the shit happen in your head and even in your body. There's all this movement happening. Your mind is going 100 miles an hour. Your heart is probably thumping really fast. But when you can ground yourself, and honestly, I think only when you can ground yourself, that is when you can access authentic confidence that you don't even have to try to be confident. Confidence is not about fake it till you make it. I fucking hate that saying, fake it till you make it, especially when you put it towards confidence, because it doesn't help. You're just gaslighting yourself. You're overriding what's actually true within your body. And the same can be said about pleasure for women. We are so used to overriding our bodies. We are so used to just laying there and taking the painful sex, taking the numb sex, and not saying anything and pretending like we like it, because this is what we are trained to do by porn, by media, by the patriarchy. Can you tell I'm passionate about this? I'm gonna take a sip of my tea because it's getting cold. Another thing that I think is really great and very beautiful to do is to notice and research how vulvas and pussies come in all different varieties. And I know a lot of women feel shame and felt shame at a very young age or at a younger age when they first saw porn and realized, like, oh, I don't look like that. That's not what my clitoris looks like. And then we internalize that and we think something is wrong with our bodies. Um, but there's so much variety. And there's actually this, let me grab my keyboard. There's actually this animated book this artist made that's all about vulva diversity. I typed in vulva on Google and like the first thing is vulva diversity book. That's fucking awesome. Maybe Google just knows me well. I don't know. It's called thevulvagallery.com. And the book is 35 euros and it has like it has drawings of just the diversity of vulvas. I recommend getting that. Whether you're a woman or whether you just love women and just everything I'm saying here, like I am speaking directly to ambitious women with a history of toxic relationships, and I think that anyone can benefit from this information because it's not benefiting society when we are so misinformed about women's bodies and about female sexuality. It's not. It's not helping anyone because then we are raised by mothers who are disconnected and disembodied. And we are raised by, like, we're raising women to be disconnected and disembodied. And we're also raising men, we're raising everybody to be disconnected and disembodied when we are not informed about female sexuality. I feel like I'm going to go off on a tangent. I could literally ramble about this topic forever. Okay. So I kind of just want to share how pussy is an all-encompassing term. There are some things like scientific anatomical anatomy things that I would love to share in this episode. And I don't have access to my reference books right now because I am moving. You can see my bookshelf is completely empty, which is so sad as a bookworm. My books are still here. They're just packed. But there's a book that I want to recommend that every woman and everyone that has sex with women should read. And it's called Women's Anatomy of Arousal by Sherry Winston, I want to say. And in there, you will learn that women have erectile tissue. And there's something called the urethral sponge. And the urethral sponge, when you take your time in foreplay and you really take your time to get turned on, it will engorge. And there's also, I wish I had, for the video purposes, I wish I had like one of those model things to have a visual aid for you. But go and look up the anatomy of the clitoris because a lot of people don't know that it's not just the external bulb that you see. And some women don't even have that external bulb visible, and that's totally normal and okay. That goes back to knowing about vulva and pussy diversity and knowing that whatever you're working with, whatever you've got is beautiful and is okay. So there's not just that head. There's also these things called vestibular bulbs that are they're directly underneath the skin of the vulva, and they're pretty big. They cover the entirety part of the vulva, like underneath the skin, and that also engorges when a woman gets turned on. And then there's one other gland as well. I can't remember what it's called, and again, I don't have access to my books. But what I want to say here is that if you are taking your time as a woman or with a woman, she is going to, like, pussy's going to open up like a flower. Sex is going to be so much better for her. She's going to really enjoy herself. And if you're talking about P and V sex, when a woman is fully turned on and all of that erectile tissue is engorged, I can't believe I'm saying all of these words on YouTube right now. It's going to be better for the guy as well, because it's a more snug fit for the guy. And for us ladies, it's so much better when you are turned on. You're actually going to have more sensation. You won't be faking it. You're going to feel so much more, and you're going to be way more connected with your partner. And the caveat here, though, that like I did not even know I was going to bring this up. The caveat here is that a lot of us are scared of intimacy. Like we're actually terrified of slowing down. We are terrified of telling our partner like, "Oh, wait, I'm actually not ready." And sometimes our partners are terrified of hearing that. Sometimes our partners will take that as rejection. And we have to really remember that when it comes to communication in the bedroom, that everyone is just speaking up for their needs, and anything that is spoken up should be met with love. And it can be very triggering when the mood is right and everything's going well, and then someone is like, I don't like that, or like, can you, like when we voice ourselves, it can be very triggering to hear something, because I think sometimes when we ask, can you do that slower, or can you do this, or can you do that, it can sometimes be taken as, oh, what you were just doing is wrong. Like you're doing it wrong. There's something wrong with you. Something's bad. And please try to go into all of your sexual encounters, including solo sex. Go into it with just such a deep honoring of what is here, and such deep compassion. Deep compassion and deep honoring of your body. And yeah, I want to share now to close out, because I didn't realize I've been talking for like 45 minutes at this point. To close out, I wanted to share a couple of practices that you ambitious women can do to start to have a closer relationship with your pussy. So the first practice I will offer is, see if you can do this once a day, and if not, maybe more, where you just, like, you can do this with your clothes on, you put your hand on your vulva and just breathe, say hi, and notice what's coming up. Feel what's coming up. Make space for what's coming up. Another practice that you can do is getting a handheld mirror and really making it a habit every day to take that mirror into the bathroom and go look at your pussy and say hi to her and be like, hey, beautiful. Give her compliments. And if you want to take that further, you can do a practice. You can do mirror work with pussy, where you just look at her in the mirror and really just appreciate everything. And something you can tell your partner to do is to, if you're at this level where you're feeling up for it, there can't be fear of intimacy here, is ask your partner to gaze at your pussy and to give your pussy compliments, and to voice out loud what she, he, they loves about your pussy. And yeah, noticing what comes up in that too. Like sometimes that can bring up a lot of emotion, especially when we're not used to speaking about our bodies or speaking to our bodies in a kind way. So those are two practices you can do. And you can always do pleasure practices without penetrating your body. You can always, like, even just taking your fingertips across your arms and your face and like massaging your scalp can be so wonderful and so pleasurable. Also, pleasure can be found like at all times, everywhere. And it's not just sexual, like even just sipping on tea can be pleasurable. My tea is officially like cold, cold. I didn't even drink it while it was hot. All right. So just so you know, before I close out, I have a breast massage course. It's called Heart Magic. And it's essentially a self-pleasure course, but self-pleasuring with your breasts. And it's a course for women, and non-binary people are also welcome into the program if you are a non-binary person with boobies. It's really designed to help you slow down with your body, to help you turn up your sensation, to help you really savor in sensual self-love. And this is a course that I originally launched and created in 2022, right before I signed up for my female sexuality coaching training and my sex, love, and relationship coaching training. And so that means I've been upgrading this course. So it is almost ready. I will have it ready by the fall. And I'm sharing it now. I know it's pretty early, but I'm sharing it now because the wait list is already open. So I'm going to put that wait list in the show notes and the link in the show notes or caption. And then if you want something to get started with right now, obviously doing one of the practices that I mentioned in this episode. And I also have on my website a free 7-day journal for busy women, and it's sensuality prompts. So all of the prompts have to do with sensuality. That's on my website at selfexpressbabe.com/resources, and I will link that in the show notes. There are a couple other resources on that page as well that you can feel free to download. I hope that you found this informative, and I would also love to welcome in your questions about sex, love, relationships, about female sexuality. I will figure out some way to have a link where you can ask me anonymous questions about female sexuality, about sex, love, relationships. I'm looking at this app called NGL, Ask Me Anything. So if I have figured out how to set that up, that will be in the show notes below. And I will be answering the questions that come in on my Instagram stories at selfexpressbabe. So go ahead and follow me there. I'll link that in the show notes. I've been slowly coming back to posting on there. And if Heart Magic sounds like something you could benefit from, the waitlist will be below in the caption. And thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next time.